Davis? Where's Jeebin?
You listen to in your building.
Thank you, Evelyn.
They're not going to take
Por lo que está pasando con nuestra gente y no saben de que hay la verdad que sí. Y les aclaro nuevamente, no tenemos nada en contra del país. Lo que no está bien es el gobierno que está ahorita y son dos cosas muy diferentes. Una el gobierno y la otra es el país. Ya lo mandamos a ver.
I've not observed them violate it yet, no. So yeah, I feel like, and I haven't seen it at least with my own eyes, I feel like someone would have let me know.
Ya se fueron todos.
Someone, I've seen them bring out batons now. People have been noting that they've been bringing out batons more, which does not violate the language of their restriction, I don't believe.
fun out here tonight.
Might be trying to use more like a hand-to-hand.
And this was after a great success.
I have observed them last night when they made a target the ref.
A giant success.
They drew their firearm
Well,
like a live weapon briefly for a moment.
but this isn't.
I think it's like maybe they're right.
I know.
I think
Judge.
Congress
I
has
know
the authority.
you're not really representative.
I'd have to check in Congress. That's their fault. Or they're appointed by, it's like confirmed by Congress. They're appointed by the president. Anyway, so I think there's a good chance that they're just going to start to just, after a while, maybe they might take a little bit of a break because they keep everything down. But I suspect they might start doing what they want to do.
Por muchos años, y por eso les pedimos que sigamos cuidando todos esos niños, porque es triste de que no estamos hablando de lo que en verdad está pasando con esos niños y con esta gente que está detenida. Muchos de ellos están siendo desaparecidos del sistema. Miren lo que Vicky está diciendo. Dice Vicky de que hay una balacera en la playa de Santa Mónica. Ya que nos lo confirme, por favor.
Yeah.
Para estar
What
seguros.
I'm worried about, though, is they're going to work out the deal with Stuart Lindquist, who owns the property, where they just pay him every time. They'll just pay. Pay him to pay the fine, and forever. They can keep that coming forever. No, yeah.
Sí, el chute está transmitiendo. Que nos gusta ir a Santa Mónica. de Santa Mónica, hay una carretera.
I've had some people tell me that they're straight up just funded by the CIA and
Pero ¿qué habrá pasado? ¿Qué habrá pasado?
I haven't been able to confirm that yet. But I'm going to be looking into that.
Está peligroso, gente. ¿Se acuerdan que les venimos diciendo?
Because that would have surprised me. That's happening every Sunday now.
Sí, amigo.
I'm going to try to keep eyes on it.
Ahí está el sitio. Sí, ¿se acuerdan que a diario les venimos diciendo que nos hagan a exponerse, que evitemos las aglomeraciones de personas?
Alright,
Thank you.
I'm gonna get off
Esto
the
se está
wire.
poniendo
If
feo, cada día
anything
más feo.
happens, so I'll go back live or I'll post a video. Good for y'all to join us.
Hay mucha policía.
Unsurprisingly, it was started by
¿Se acuerdan que les hemos venido diciendo de que no salgamos tanto a los parques, donde hay mucha aglomeración de personas, porque no se sabe la verdad? That's right, but it's not secure anymore. Que Delta 1.
No, they never do anything, you're right.
Delta
Are
1
you
con un
serious?
seguidor y tú siguiendo una sola persona. Ay, Dios mío. Quiere ganas con esas personas. Hola, hola Rosy, buenas noches, buenas noches.
see the cones right there. He crosses over and again starts picking up speed. Just incredible.
Picking up speed and then continues to speed into that area where he's not supposed to be, where the traffic into that area where he's not supposed to be, where the traffic. He's still going really fast, Desmond. Have you?
You can see the cones right there. He crosses over and again starts picking up speed. Just incredible.
He's still going really fast, Desmond. Have you heard him talk about officers possibly pulling off?
Yeah, it sounds like at least for the time being, they have the ground units pulled off and they're just tracking this from the helicopter. I mean, it is just so insanely dangerous with the suspect. Wrong side of the road right now.
Whoa.
Fortunately, very light traffic right now. I mean, we are on Rosemead. This is normally an extremely busy street, but now the 10 o'clock hour, not too bad. But look through this red light. Let's see what they're going to. Pico Rivera area right now, continuing northbound on Rosemead. I mean, you really hate to see a suspect, getting away after that kind of insane driving, but at least for now, the authorities backing off on the ground. They're attempting to track this from the helicopter. Yeah. But, look, there's no one behind the suspect, and they just continue to drive, crazy. 80, 90 miles an hour here on these surface streets. So far anyway, backing off is not getting the suspect to cool his jets.
Yeah, thank goodness no one was hurt here. He's hitting some heavier traffic here, a red light, but that's not going to stop him. He's going to go and blow right through that. Mike, any word on the desk there, whether there's just one person in this truck? What do we know?
So, yeah, we know that they don't know, Juan. So basically, we were listening earlier. CHP had asked before they took it over, what do we know about the driver? Do they know anything about the suspect? Because sometimes cars are stolen and it's a known suspect, and sometimes
situation where someone is wanted, and we saw multiple, at least 3 sheriff's deputies, patrol vehicles directly behind, and then of course that spotlight that's been the most constant presence since we broke in, of staying over top and maintaining.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to really try to do that pit maneuver. They were unsuccessful. And then deputies said, hey, this is getting maybe a little too dangerous, too many people on the street for a Sunday night. So let's back up a little bit and let the eye in the sky, the sheriff's helicopter, do most of the work. And that's what we're seeing here. Spotlight is on the car, on the vehicle, and really they were able to get what they wanted for this suspect to kind of slow down, de-escalate the situation, and then I'm sure they're formulating a plan to possibly pick it back up or continue on with the sheriff's helicopter for now until okay, see, now we're getting back into driving pretty reckless, bypassing a lot of traffic and picking up speeds.
And we don't know when they could, re-engage, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And it could be in the next couple of minutes. It could be an elongated amount of time. Right there, blowing through a red light. I mean, any moment could trigger a response from sheriff's deputies to get back on top of this vehicle. It's just right now they're in tracking mode. They've backed off significantly and just have the spotlight overhead. Now, we were told earlier that CHP is on standby if this does get on the freeway. So everyone's in communication with each other. This seems to have a firm grasp on the control aspect of at least knowing what the suspect is wanted for, where the suspect is, who's in the vehicle. Again, we believe to be 2 people in the vehicle right now, and still maintaining. Right, we haven't left the Downey-Norwalk area really in the last 10 minutes or so, so they've just maintained themselves here at points going into neighborhoods and going into residential areas, and, you know, speed bumps slowing things down. But right now, climbing close to 70 miles an hour here with, fortunately, not too much traffic in this immediate area. But you got to wonder how much longer it'll last from the suspect. And then, of course, from law enforcement as to whether or not they decide to get aggressive again in chasing this person.
Looks like they're coming up on a Caltrans vehicle there and going to, are they getting on the freeway here?
It almost looks like it, maybe.
It looks like they possibly are here on the 605 North. Yep, getting on the freeway. And we know CHP was on standby, but now that LASD, the sheriff's deputies have backed off and the helicopter's in tracking mode, I wonder if CHP will even take this over. We'll have to wait and see. Sometimes they will, but at this point, we have not heard if CHP is going to take this over, but we do know that that sheriff's helicopter still tracking this pursuit suspect. And this person wanted for reckless driving, right? So
yes.
We've seen them make several reckless moves on city streets here. The 605 North, which they're following right now, pretty empty, always a good sign.
Yeah.
Going about 80 miles per hour. So the hope is that this person will kind of flow with traffic, and you know, these situations can be dangerous, and it will just come to a stop.
The good news, as you pointed out, is just the fact that there aren't a lot of cars here to weave in and out of. And really throughout the course of this, obviously, any sense of recklessness is dangerous because of the potential impact that could have on any number of people who are out and about. But compared to other pursuits that we sort of break in on, we haven't seen that same level of aggression, of bouncing back and forth in between cars, but we certainly have seen running through red lights, running through stop signs, and now with the dynamic having changed, jumping on the 605, and who knows? I mean, typically when we see them jump on the freeway, you're just kind of buying time, sometimes even trying to stay on the freeway for an elongated period of time before then inevitably looping back to where things started and being in an area that they are more comfortable in, because we've seen them try and get away or jump out of a vehicle in an alley or in a neighborhood or of the like. Here in this situation, it'll go as long as it needs to, because not only are they in tracking mode, the sheriff's department is, but as we mentioned to you before, CHP is also on standby, knowing that this is a possibility if they have to take it over. So law enforcement agencies are connected and knowing what exactly is going on here. So that spotlight has maintained its presence overhead. So there's really nowhere else for this person or perhaps people to go, at least right now.
Yeah, and at this point, they did make a maneuver now on the 105 west from the 605. So heading down the 105, still near the Downey-Norwalk area. Again, this pursuit started in the East LA area with sheriff's deputies from the East LA substation who noticed a driver was driving recklessly. They began that pursuit, took them through the Montebello area. Then we ended up following them closer near Downey-Norwalk. And now the driver on the 105, at this point, we know there's 2 people inside the vehicle. Sheriff's deputies tried to make multiple pit maneuvers. They were unsuccessful. And at one point, I think the situation just got too dangerous. And they said, hey, we're backing off. We are going to let the helicopter take it from here. And so for the last few minutes here, it's just solely been the sheriff's helicopter tracking this pursuit suspect.
And to go on that note that you mentioned about the attempted pit maneuver, at least the one we saw from SkyCal, and that is a line to draw here with the damage that you've seen in the back end back left side of this vehicle, is that in that moment where sheriff's deputies attempted to do the pit maneuver on this car, there was, not only was it unsuccessful, but then there were moments where it almost seemed like they were going to try again, but they were disrupted, whether it was from other traffic that was on the road. At one point, there was a median that came out, and you saw the sheriff's deputies' patrol vehicle sort of move out of the way just to avoid that. There were just so many variables and other dynamics that were playing a role, at least from our perspective, from what we were able to see, playing a role in perhaps deciding that they should then back off and reassess the situation, because there was no avenue there to perform a clean pit maneuver in that moment. Therefore, then they just backed off. We saw at least 3 patrol cars in that moment sort of be behind this vehicle, and then none within the frame of view that we were able to provide. So again, just that spotlight overhead maintaining the view, and now we're sitting in the carpool lane on the 105 going west with no indication as to how much longer they're going to keep this going.
Yeah, and this can go, we've seen pursuits go, if
Long
not
time.
hours, multiple hours. And we're hoping, of course, that is not the case in this situation. You want these to end as quick as possible, because other drivers on the roadway, they're most at risk of danger. But at this point, it looks like this person is just going to keep going. I will tell you, Gio, I'm working with our desk to try to get more information here, because they are able to listen to scanners at the same time. And I believe that there was some talk about having officers on the ground re-engage and getting CHP officers in position to re-engage this suspect and begin this pursuit, since it's now on the 105 freeway. It's been on the freeway for some time. They went from the 605 to the 105, and this is now CHP territory.
I was going to bring up that exact point about the fact that, you know, sometimes we see a typical pattern of commute when it comes to pursuit suspects. As we've mentioned, you hang out in those surface area streets of an area you're familiar with to try and find some sort of escape avenue, and put that in quotes, escape avenue. We tend to end up getting caught regardless. But after then getting on the 605 and going northbound, but then quickly pivoting back to the 105, which is where we are now, going west and getting into Compton. So going from Downey Norwalk west now into Compton, who's to say that they don't turn right back around? We've seen that before. But again, there's no indication from this suspect as of right now as to what direction they're going to go, or if they're just going to maintain this. Obviously, we know the 105 isn't endless. At a certain point, they're either going to have to turn around or go north or go south. But as of right now, we're just keeping an eye on this, because everybody is still in communication with each other as to what exactly is going on. We've mentioned to you that CHP was notified about what's going on, whether or not they needed to be on standby to take this over now that it's jumped on the freeway. But, you know, really, it's worth pointing out again, even as they jumped on the freeway, 605 now going west on the 105, we still haven't seen any law enforcement, you know, really get up close and behind.
No,
but we've had close calls like that.
CHP is going to re-engage possibly, but you saw they're pretty much sandwiching themselves in between 2 lanes, 2 vehicles to try to get around. And there you go, just as we said it, CHP now re-engaging this pursuit suspect. And this, again, CHP territory.
And it's worth also another good point to point out that now with the re-engagement, it also helps the other drivers on the road, too. When you see the flashing lights and you see everything else that's going on, and now when it starts getting congested like this, it's a good, like, hey, guys, we got to start
between 2 vehicles once again, the carpool lane and the freeway, as CHP right on the tail of this pursuit suspect. You see that driver on the carpool lane getting out of the way, going into the shoulder, just to give room for that CHP cruiser.
We're being told right now that we might have Dave Avila on the phone right now. We've been trying to connect with Dave throughout the night to see if we can get an extra perspective. Dave, can you hear us all right?
How do you hear me?
We do hear you. We hear a bit of an echo, though, to be perfectly honest with you. So I just want to make sure we have a clean communication so we don't disrupt you throughout the course of this conversation.
How are you hearing me now?
We hear you great.
Okay, I guess it's working.
Yeah, perfect.
Dave, I know you've been watching this. We were trying to connect with you. Yes. If you don't know, Dave Avila, retired LAPD helicopter pilot there. But we're watching CHP re-engage this reckless driving suspect now. Any information you're hearing from your sources?
It's exactly that. You know, it was a sheriff's caper that started this whole thing, and then afterwards it went back on to Chippy's, and we've been back and forth. Air unit is still overhead. They have sometimes they got this new thing where they'll go ahead and pull the light off the suspect, try to de-escalate the situation. They got a new name for it. I forget what it is, but it's basically they want to de-escalate it. But CHP will go ahead and stay on it. And as we know, just like any other department, when you get CHP involved, they like all the other units to pull off. Sheriffs or LAPD, whoever it is. In this case, it's sheriffs, because they all play off their own rule book, for lack of a better term, unless things start going sideways. And then they'll request more units.
Yeah, it
but,
looks like
right now,
it looks like another CHP cruiser now joining in on this pursuit, as the suspect looks to possibly
it almost looked
be
like they were
getting.
gonna
It looked like they were going to exit the 105 here, but
it might still no. Well,
we're going to have to follow this a bit.
Dave, while we keep an eye on
Probably
this,
heading on the 110.
The what? Yep, there you go. Yeah, it looks like it might jump on the 110 here. What goes into the decision, Dave? Because over the course of this pursuit for the last 20 minutes or so, we saw sheriff's deputies and everybody back off and give a pretty lengthy amount of space and time to sort of reassess the situation. At what point does it trigger? Okay, we need to re-engage in this situation.
The danger involved. If it gets to the point where that did not work, if they pulled off, they said, let's go ahead and give this suspect some time, some space. Air unit will turn off its light, and which they just re-engaged because it's not that wasn't working. So he got on the freeway. So CHP said, hey, so for the safety of the citizens, let's go ahead and re-engage this pursuit. We'll get the air unit back on it with the night sun. And, at least give some people some warning of what's happening. But, we've all been on that freeway and we've had cars pass us by, 90 miles per hour. And it's kind of like, whoa, didn't even see them coming. So hopefully this puts a warning out to the folks there.
Yeah, it can be a very dangerous situation. But now definitely more CHP 3 now jumping in on this pursuit, as you were mentioning, Dave. They're on the 110 South right now. It looks like if they do what other pursuit suspects will do, possibly heading back to the same direction. We know this started in East Los Angeles. They can always go down the 91 or the 405 here. So we'll just continue watching this one. But there was a couple of pit maneuvers we saw that the sheriff's deputies were very close, Dave, but it just unsuccessful there.
Yeah, like right now, it wouldn't be a good time to pull a pit maneuver right now because of the vehicles that are on the freeway, unless they can, get the traffic stopped and get the suspect up there. But, the other thing, the desperation of all, and, good point, Leslie, because we've always seen where these suspects like to hang out in the neighborhood, let's say the east side, somewhere that they're familiar with. So, we're southbound the 110 freeway. We're going to come up the 105 and, we're going to come up to the other freeways. We could always start heading back that way. But, the thing we have to look at also is that the suspect, I mean, they are doing everything they can to stay away from the officers. So we don't know what's going on, the seriousness of their crime, if it's more than GTA, if it's more than Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
We have to, so we have to keep that in mind too. Why are they intent on getting away?
Yeah, especially if this started as a reckless driving stop.
Yeah,
it was a reckless driving stop, and then, they're so intent on wanting to get away. You have to wonder what else is going on in that car. What else? Why else are they trying to get away?
On top of the fact, Dave, that also I think another variable and dynamic is it looks like they're taking an exit. Did it look like the 405?
I want to say it did look like the 405.
That there's believed to be another person in the car too. So we know, as you've brought this up many times before, when you have a single suspect, they might be jumping on the phone, trying to call friends for help. That sort of dynamic starts evolving. But when you have an extra person in the car directly next to you, then that becomes a very tangible thing where you're perhaps discussing it with somebody else in the car with you, and that elongates what is already a rather long pursuit and situation.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're talking desperation here. I mean, it's that's why when you're an officer and you're chasing this suspect, yeah, it's a reckless driver, and the first thing you think, okay, so what are they running away from? Is it a shooting, a gang shooting? Is it a 211? Are they armed? We don't know. So many factors to consider in any type of pursuit, and every pursuit is monitored. That's why we have all these new rules. You know, we didn't have them in the old days. But now we do. You know, first thing, of course, is public safety. We got to, you know, we're not real sure of the nature of the offense. We know what we have right now, but you know, then you have to consider officer safety, get an air unit overhead, and it's always the danger to the public, and that's obviously been shown because they re-engage the pursuit. You know, how often we've seen that. They usually pull off and they stay off, but no, not here. That's not the case tonight.
Yeah, they re-engaged, and now if we can zoom out, I want to see if any CHP cruisers are behind this, and they're not lights and sirens. You see them there, but they turned off lights and sirens, of course, as a move, Dave, to, again, de-escalate this situation.
Yeah, it's exactly what they're doing here. So let's just see, but they, and it's up to the, it's up to the whoever's going to run this show. Is it going to be the primary unit, the ranking officer in the primary unit? In this case, the chippies, not the sheriffs. Or is it the incident commander, sergeant involved, which it probably is because everybody has a incident commander. The procedure is you got the units in pursuit. Here's the CHP who's taking over for the sheriffs. They request a backup. They get a backup going, and then they request a supervisor to enter the pursuit. That's usually your textbook is 3 vehicles. And then that supervisor, once they get there, they become the incident commander. In other words, they monitor the pursuit. How dangerous is it to the public? Is the continued pursuit of this outweigh the danger that's out there in any type of pursuit, whether it be on the freeway, the street, slow, fast, whatever's going on? So obviously in this one, they decided, yeah, we're going to keep it going. And so far, I mean, it's the suspect staying between the lines. That's a big factor.
Yeah. We were making that point earlier, Dave, about the fact that, you know, relatively speaking to the typical pursuits that we jump in on, yes, we've had a lot of close calls, and that obviously is a significant cause for concern and danger because you never want anything to happen. But they're not exactly, you know, weaving or going to 90, 100 miles an hour like we sometimes see in these situations. You know, you even think of, like, to your previous point about taking a big old circle to maybe go back and circle back to a place they're familiar with, because we spent quite a lot of time in the Downey, Norwalk area. I have no idea how long they plan on extending this.
Yeah, just to give everyone an update, they're now on the 405 North. They were on the 110. And my thought process here, Dave, was, of course, I questioned, will they go back to where they started, back in East LA? I would have thought they would have headed south, maybe up the 605 or the 710, get back that way. But we went 405 north, so now we got to wonder how long is this thing going to go?
Yeah, I mean, they're you know, Leslie. I mean, it's with all of our freeways, the way they crisscross back and forth, and these people, they know exactly where they're going or what they're thinking. You know, he's got or he or she, not sure yet. Haven't verified that.
We don't know. You're right.
Yeah, we don't know. You know, there's a lot of discussion going on. As you mentioned earlier, that passenger's probably on the cell phone talking to somebody, saying, you know, and they're feeding them information. So. Yeah, I mean, it's that's why LA's people often ask, why do we have so many pursuits in Los Angeles area? So I'll take a look at our freeways. They're usually dry, they're wide, they're open, they crisscross all over the place. You can go anywhere you want in minutes. and that's about where we're at now. So, yeah, we may see the suspect head back east and head back to that area because, as you mentioned, we talked about, that's usually what they like to do. So we'll see here. It'll take a little bit. So hopefully it's just getting more dangerous than this.
Yeah, minutes indeed if there's a traffic light, relatively speaking, to what we're seeing right now. Because, you know, Dave, also going off another point you made with regards to getting on the phone or perhaps talking to other friends or individuals and buying yourself time. I mean, you could stay on the 405 and climb, because if they're in Inglewood right now, you could climb the 405 all the way up to the valley, though that would be a bit of a surprise given what we've seen so far, or then you can just jump back on the 10 to take you back east. You've already bought yourself more or less a giant rectangular square on the freeway to buy yourself sort of elongated stretches of road where you're not having to bounce back and forth through red lights, stop signs, and other cars that may or may not be in your way. Right now, this is sort of a clean, you know, pursuit, relatively speaking.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So that's, you know, we'll just see what's going here. And, you know, somebody from the east side, if they're staying south of the Hollywood Hills, it gets to be a little unusual when we see somebody that's been racing down here in the south end, Los Angeles, head out to the valley. And
they might not know that area too well. It looked like they were going to get off here on El Segundo in the Inglewood area. We'll see if they
might still be
continue to do so. Yeah, it looked like they were going to get off, and then they swerved back right onto the freeway. And I believe they're still on the 405. It's hard
also
to make out
dark,
here. It's very dark in this area. But it'll be interesting to see what this driver does next. It looks like CHP has definitely pulled back, if not all the way off. I'll have to check with our news desk here to see if they're solely in tracking mode. I'm not even seeing the helicopter spotlight now.
I think that might actually be playing into the fact that it's a little hard to make out, is not being able to see.
Yeah, that was helping us earlier.
But it looks like at least
105.
Yeah, 105. So, you know, it's I mean, we're just still
We're not
going.
seeing the spotlight right now, Dave. Is it possible that they pulled off altogether? I'll have to check with our news desk.
They just may have gone into the monitoring mode where they're just going to sit back. They, you know, and for, you know, we used to call it de-escalation. They got some new terms now, but that might just be what they're doing now. You know, just pull the black and whites off.
Well, especially, sorry to cut you off, Dave, but I'd have to imagine if this is, you know, if it is reckless driving, if it's not auto theft or anything like that, you know all the information of the vehicle. So if they've determined perhaps that we have all the information, we know who the people are, and that we've deemed that it's perhaps safer to just pull off entirely and give them that quote-unquote sense of security, then that might be the better call as opposed to the more aggressive tactics we've seen even just as recently as half an hour ago.
Yeah, exactly, Gio. I mean, that's just the way it is now. As much as I hate to say it, because, you know, before we would never let a suspect go. But it's it's a good, that's a good theory. Could exactly happen that way. Or hopefully we're just monitoring it and we'll just keep an eyeball on them and see what happens with them. You know, and like you said, they, you know, they have the plate number. They're going to run the plate. They're going to talk to the RO, the registered owner, and see, you know, if they still own the vehicle. Looks like we're heading back east. Or are we swinging around here?
It might be swinging around. We also have to keep in mind, we're, you know, being in Westchester, I would assume we're getting close to LAX airspace, so we got to be careful in terms of, you know, flying too close and getting into any restricted zones. And because of this overpass and everything else, it makes it really difficult to make out, on top of the fact that we don't have the spotlight overhead. So then, you know, factor that into nighttime, it makes it difficult.
That is why we're pretty far from that vehicle, but it looks like they're going to continue on. That does not look like our vehicle here. We got to see if that one is.
Somebody else.
We know it has that back end damage. It looks like that is it. Yep, because you can see that back end damage there.
You can see that TC.
Yep. So yeah, we're pulled a little bit far back. Some of these buildings are going to be in our way here, but that is because we're near the LAX airspace. But This is the vehicle. We're going to wait for it right there. Yep. Yeah, and we know exactly, Dave, as you were saying, because of that back end damage. So it's pretty significant damage there.
Yeah, it's hard to miss.
Exactly. So it looks like, what's he doing now? Westbound? We're going westbound now. Heading towards the beach. This is very odd. Yeah, so we're south of LA ground airspace, what they call Class Bravo. We're south of that. That's south of the 105. So we're free to fly here, even though we're in Hawthorne's airspace. And right now, Hawthorne is closed. Doesn't mean that planes aren't flying in and out. Yeah. You should fly there actually off duty. But yeah, the other thing we've seen too is, I mean, sometimes we get kind of confused where we're going. We just look for a big boulevard and take off. So
yeah, and that
might be the case here.
Yeah, I was going to say that might be the case with this driver here. Again, if you're joining us, we've been on this for most of the hour here at 9 p.m. And this driver wanted for reckless driving started in East LA. We believe 2 people inside that vehicle. At moments, we did see law enforcement try a pit maneuver. They were unsuccessful. This driver then got on the freeway, several freeways here. I'm trying to remember them all, but I believe
605 to 105, and then 405. Yeah. It was a bevy of freeways and bouncing back and forth through all of them.
Yeah, and now closer towards the Hawthorne area at this point, and you'll see we'll try to get our bearings here and see if we can find that vehicle. It is, I believe it
might be at there heading east. You know, he might be looking to get back on the 105 eastbound.
It could be, considering how congested everything was. We mentioned earlier about the non-likelihood of them going north and continuing on the 405 northbound closer toward the valley, but and perhaps just looping it back around to get back to East LA in that area.
And we do see a cruiser right there. Don't know if maybe they had their eye on that pursuit suspect, but it looks like SkyCal may have lost this vehicle for now. But I will tell you, law enforcement was on their tail. Then they backed off. Right. Then they decided to go into tracking mode, and they really did pull off.
That's the key too to remember is that they did pull off, and not just pull off, but then the spotlight also pulled off too. So obviously we'll continue to monitor the situation, but it's a reckless driving pursuit suspect. You know, keeping an eye on him right now as we see what happens next. But Dave, we do want to thank you for your time. We certainly appreciate you on a Sunday night joining us.
Anytime. You both take care now.
Thanks so much.
This is CBS LA at 10.
The Oscar goes to One Battle After.
Ya vienen DHS del otro lado. ¡Hey! Ahí vienen del otro lado. Joker.
Go tell your dumbass co-worker that you're driving like that. Go tell your dumbass co-worker that you're driving like that. And not to hit civilians. Vehicular manslaughter is fucking illegal. You care about legality?
Miren los securities.
Somebody getting run over in front of you? That's what you want to see? Is that what you want to see, you asshole? You're a pussy. You're all pussies working in a concentration camp. You're all pussies. All 3 of you are pussies. All 3 of you are pussies. Oh, look, here comes the DHS. Look at the DHS.
Los Ángeles, California. Esto está pasando en Los Ángeles, California. ¡Hey! They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
Are you gonna go tell your coworker not to run over civilians? Are you gonna tell your coworker not to run over?
They run over him.
Are you gonna tell your coworkers not to run over civilians? What's up? Are you gonna tell your coworkers not to
Hey,
run over
hey!
civilians?
Why are you guys doing that? Leave him alone.
Fuck you! He almost got hit by a fucking car. Your coworker almost ran him over from behind. Why are you not arresting him? Why are you not arresting the fucker in the white Prius? Why are you not arresting him? Why are you arresting him? He's the victim.
He is the victim.
Fucking victim. Alright, you have a building full of fucking victims in there, right? That's what you do to one of these? That's what you do? Hey, get my glasses! I'm a fucking nerd. Yeah, you guys killed a VA nurse, so why am I so different? Why am I so different?
Miren, miren, miren cómo están.
Okay, oppressor, what makes you feel like you have the right to an entitlement to like criminalize people that were almost hit by a car? Why are you guys not detaining the guy that almost hit him? No. 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 You guys, if I don't record, you guys are going to be rougher with him. You're blocking the whole view so that I cannot see how you guys are criminalizing him. You are blocking the view. You are objectively blocking the freedom of your right and freedom of the press.
He almost got run over.
You're enforcing your right away. It's my freedom of the press. It's
Look.
your freedom of the press. Do you not know this? My freedom of speech is your freedom of speech.
Por poco lo atropelló el carro que acaba de entrar. El carro que acaba de entrar, por poco lo atropelló. Eso es lo que DHS hace, miren. He needs his glasses. He needs his glasses. DHS.
Especially you. Malcolm X would spit on your fucking face. Malcolm X would spit on your face. You're a fucking Nazi. Why do you care? Why do you care? You're a Nazi. Look at those. Fuck you. 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 Fuck all of you. Fuck all of you. Fuck all of you.
Por poco y atropellan al muchacho de los lentes. Eso es el que ellos acaban de detener. Pero vieron qué agresividad. Sí, uno de los del DHS agarró los lentes. Sí, le tuvimos que decir que recogiera los lentes. Es lo que hacen, prender la luz. ¿Y qué? ¿Qué van a hacer con esa luz? Vamos a ir a ver si no... Vamos a ir a checar allá si no dejó algo tirado. Ah, sí agarraron los lentes. DHS los lleva. ¿Ah? No, DHS lo lleva. Yo lo enfoqué. Uno de ellos lo llevaba en la mano.
Are you guys actually going to return his glasses?
Hope they do it. Si se roban los conos también. Ahora se van a robar los lentes.
Arrestaron a una persona que casi la atropella.
Sí, sí.
Arrest the fucker in the Prius, you pussy!
Yo escuché cuando yo iba para allá a checar, pero escuché cómo entró él con una velocidad bien excesiva.
No, pues sí, yo estaba al lado de él, estaba volteando para allá, se dio la vuelta, le islamió a la esta y...
Está cabrón, vamos para allá. No,
Fíjate que yo ya me iba, pero...
¿Ya tú ves?
Y es que ya me faltaban como 2 minutos para irme y me iban a las 10.
Espérame, vamos a silenciar. Sorry, estaba silenciado. Pero sí les estaba diciendo de que los securities se pusieron a discutir con el muchacho que estaba parado aquí al frente porque un carro que entró del hielo casi lo pasó atropellando. Y estaba él aquí a un lado y casi se lo pasó levantando. Y él les estaba diciendo a los securities de que paren de hacer eso, que tienen que bajar la velocidad. Porque pueden provocar accidentes. Por eso los securities, los tres se pusieron a discutir con él. Y los del DHS es lo que salieron muy agresivos a arrestar a la persona que casi que por poco y lo atropellan. Eso es lo que pasó. Hope he is okay, but I don't think so porque lo tiraron on the ground. Pero miren, allá están aquellos. Estos son bien chismosos, son los que le ponen el dedo a la gente. Sí, estos son. También. Pues esto es lo que pasa, gente, como les estaba diciendo, incluso a mí hace unos instantes atrás. Are you guys calling the ambulance? No creo. Yeah. We had to ask many times